Hello, ladies and gentlemen. As always, I'm your host, AirsoftAL, and, well, today is the first review of 2026, which, honestly, kind of surprised I'm doing this. It's for 2026, but either way, though. So, big thing here. This was actually a Christmas gift by my friend Joey. Now, Joey, of course, said, hey, this could probably help you out with a lot of things, and ironically enough, yes, it does. If anything, it actually... How do I even say this without sounding like a nut job here, but... This Chicom optic is something I did not expect, and that is fucking saying a lot, but, you know, it is what it is. So before I go into any further, let me just go ahead and say I have had, as of to date, 3 style of RunCams in my life. First one, of course, being the RunCam 2, which I actually still have, but, you know, I haven't really done a lot with. And for those who don't know what the RunCam 2 is, it's this little bad boy right here. This was RunCam's kind of claim to fame in the airsoft world. Everyone had them. Brain Exploder made a mount for it, which is the mount I have right here. And it was fairly simple, fairly fun, and everyone loved it, I included. But then, of course, RunCam decided to upgrade again. Or at least make another version of the RunCam, and they made several, in fact. They made one that legitimately is kind of a, hey, a turn-on-forget, kind of like the RunCam action camera that you see me rocking on the channel as of late. The 4K version, not the 1080 version, but we'll get to that review in the future, I promise you. But the other one, which you have seen me rock, especially on my recon rifle back there, and a few of my other stuff back here, has been, of course, the RunCam Scope SE. This bad boy right here actually was pretty affordable before the price hike, of course, at $90, and that's saying something, because legitimately this is a fun, versatile little camera. It's a turn on and forget. You ain't gotta worry about it. It actually does have a pretty decent microphone to it. It's fun, it's good. I mean, it took me a minute to realize what the frickin' Bluetooth function was on the SOB, but it legitimately does work, and it's a versatile little scope cam. It also adds that retro look. Like, seriously, this looks like an old-school fucking laser sight, okay? And legitimately, this was actually a lot of fun. But I decided I realized that a lot of times mounting these is not easy, especially when some replicas don't really come with a rail that will definitely accommodate it. And believe me, a lot of them do not. Especially in the weirdest of fucking places to put them, because sometimes they'll get in the way of your optics, sometimes they will get in the way of your light. Mounting them makes it awkward, where you have to have the barrel out a little further, i.e. exposing yourself a little further. It's a interesting thing, to say the least. But this one I've been eyeing for a hot minute and was looking at it for a few things, really. Especially experimentation and other stuff in general. So, my happy self decided to take the opportunity to test it out on 2 different things because of a certain claim to fame. Or at least a claim that is made by the company, or at least from what I've read, some claims have said. Now, enough words, of course. I'm talking about this little bad boy right here. This you've seen on Amazon many a times when you go and look up night vision optics or just type in night vision in general. This thing comes up for either under or around the $100 price tag, never breaking that $105 or even $120 price tag, unless of course you're looking at other models, but I'm getting ahead of myself. This is a Chicom night optic, and I have tested out the night optics setting of it, but that wasn't really my thing because my field doesn't really allow night optics in general. They'd rather have you have a flashlight, which, you know what, really understandable. I may talk to Mike in the future saying, hey, what about, like, if I mounted a night vision camera, you know, just so I can actually, you know, when I'm not using my flashlight, you know, I can actually see what I'm shooting at. But, you know, I'll bring it up to him next game day. Anyway, it is a Picatinny rail setup. It is not really good with Weaver, especially when I was testing it on a Ruger 1022, which, yes, you will be seeing the footage of that in a bit when we talk about it. But the big thing, though, is that it is USB-C, takes micro SD, and the battery setup itself is something that's actually kind of cool, because it takes the same kind of battery that RunCam takes. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, what kind of battery am I talking about exactly? Well, the battery in question is, ironically enough, this one right here. Now, you've probably seen these in vapes, you've probably seen these in tactical lights. This is a, I'm reading this thing, mind you, it is an 18650 3.7 volt 2000 mAh battery. It's literally this. And you can actually pick these up at any vape shop or even pick them up on Amazon even. And while, yes, people are going to say, well, what about the bigger batteries? No, the bigger battery does not fit in the thing. I tried. It's not making a sexual joke here. But because it takes the same battery as, say, the RunCam SE camera, or even, of course, the action cameras, which are the helmet cams that I've been using, which I'm not going to lie, I freaking love, but I'd love to have a traditional helmet camera where it's like, meh. But, you know, it is what it is. So, with that said, exactly what functions does this thing have? Well, it has many things, actually, but navigating the menu is a pain in the ass in general, because the button layout on it is these buttons here. You have the power button here, which is your up arrow. You have your night vision, which is your down arrow, which turns on the IR light, which is adjustable. If I can get it to pull out, there it goes. Basically adjustable for basically like far or close. You know how mag light works. It works in the same principle. Then, of course, you have the zoom option here, which does, the zoom actually is kind of nice. I will admit, the zoom option does actually work out pretty well, but most of the time I work this thing at 1 power magnification, and it worked just fine, like an ACOG scope almost. Or, wasn't really 1 power, it's... Let me actually turn this on real quick, just so I can see what the actual thing is. No, it's a one-time zoom, but it does record and take pictures in 1080p, which is very nice. Now, the button here is the star of the show. This is your picture and record button. You have to hold it down to actually record video, and you press it to take a photo, which, again, takes some getting used to. The middle button here is the OK and menu button. Again, you hold it down to bring up your menu, to change out reticles, things like that. I haven't figured out how to get rid of the date time yet. I've been trying to figure that out. I can't figure it out, but it's one of those things. It does have 2 Picatinny rails, like I said. The adjustment is not really the back here. It's actually this. The front is the focus. This is what focuses for your targets, basically. This will actually come off, so you can change, ironically enough, if you want to, you can actually change what you want. And the irony of this is mostly here for, you know, one of those things. And if you turn this on, you'll see it just fine. I haven't tested it out like that yet, but it does work. But this is the actual magnification option, which again, works out just fine. But, you know, one of those lovely, lovely things of, do I really want to rock this like this, which I might actually do so because of the scope cup here. Again, I haven't decided yet. And yes, there is a microphone here, which, yes, you will be hearing the audio from it. But, wait though. Now, it does record in 5-minute intervals, so yeah, 5-minute intervals are, if you don't like that, it's completely understandable. But what I will say is that it actually is a very robust camera, at most. It's, in terms of an optic, well, I'm going to put it off. But before I continue, one downside here. And I'm saying this now, one downside. There is no covering for the SD card or the USB-C entry here. Or the charge port, I should say, / transfer port, depending on how you want to do things. But I have procrastinated enough. I'm not going to go full gameplay. That's going to be coming later down the line. It's going to come probably after this video is uploaded, the full gameplay of this mounted on the SR25, so you can see the full effect of it in the gameplay of this right here. But what I will say, however, is that it's interesting to use an airsoft. It's, I'm just going to go to the clip. Using an airsoft is a learning curve, to say the least, because of the cup here. Yes, you can remove the cup, which is probably what I'm going to do in the future, but it does kind of limit you a bit on your eye relief. And I mostly just keep it on there just because, hey, I don't want to bump my eye or my glasses into it. I mostly keep it on there just for limitation to not break anything. Anyway, yeah. But the real thing is that the companies themselves, as well as others, claim that this will hold 0 on damn near anything. I politely say bull and shit.
Bullshit! Bullshit!
Because you're telling me that a digital optic does not need to be zeroed whatsoever.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
I don't think so. I don't think so, Tim. I don't think so, Tim. So instead of putting it on something, say, like a deer rifle, I started out with a small test. I put it on a Ruger 1022. And this is the footage from the Ruger 1022 test.
Did I just hit on target?
No idea. Where are you aiming?
I'm aiming at the target.
I know, where at on the target?
Hold on. There we go, I got a clear picture. Aiming dead center.
Aim for the hood. I think you just hit the hood.
Oh, here you go.
Oh, yeah.
The big iron.
The big iron on the stick.
Yeah, this thing is zeroed, but it's on the second, ridge.
Up or down?
Down.
So it's shooting high.
Just a wee bit.
In terms of it being zeroed, you remember how I said earlier it doesn't really do well with weaver rail? Well, that was on the 1022. 1022 had weaver rail, and I only had it on this one front thing here, which meant that it was already not on a stable platform. So yeah, it is what it is. But in terms of a actual, I'm not going to say a full replacement for a scope cam, like, say, the RunCam scope cams, but I will say as a happy little medium between a actual, like, legitimate scope cam, it is definitely good. The only difference is that's bulky and heavier than the standard RunCam here. But the added features of it being a night optic, while digital, yes, as well as a actual camera does kind of outweigh that a bit. And it has a lovely aesthetic to it that if you put on, say, a XM8 or even some other guns that have less sci-fi, atom punkish, or even just cyberpunk aesthetic to it, like, say, the Star Dragon behind me, this would not look out of place on it, and if anything, it would complement it very well. So, do I recommend it? Ironically, yes. It's not that expensive, and for airsoft, paintball, or even gel ball, or even Nerf, fully believe that, yes, this actually does work really well, and in terms of zeroing for airsoft, you don't really need to zero for airsoft, you just be able to see past a certain point where the BBs are going, so you can shift fire to where those BBs are going to land. This works perfect for it. As for, say, real steel? I don't know. I'm not a person who actually understands that kind of stuff. I'm more along the lines with airsoft. On a 22, it's fine, and honestly, yeah, it works on a 22. Anything bigger than a 22, I'm a little hesitant on, especially with this, because I don't believe there's any sort of inertial dampeners in this that will keep all the electronics and stuff from being kind of jarred around by the recoil. Again, 22 isn't much, but I was... yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So, if you want one for yourself, you can find these on Amazon. I've posted enough frickin' screenshots to show you what this is, and you can grab this. If anything, just take a screen... frickin' have ability... if you have Opera GX, just take a screenshot of this right here. Hold on, let me just do this real quick. Take a screenshot of that, put it into Google Images, and you will find listings of these things all over the place. And, yeah. First review of 2026, and it's on a Chinesium optic. Okay. Anyway, if you want to see more footage of this on other calibers of guns, let me know in the comments section down below, because I'll happily do more tests with this. I'm not afraid to do so, and we do have a safe environment where we can do so. Outside of that, though, ladies and gentlemen, I've been AirsoftAL, and welcome to 2026 and the new season of AirsoftAL Reviews. And, yeah, probably gonna see a lot more of this, honestly, because I legitimately do have fun with this. And outside of that, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to help out the channel, consider donating to the PayPal. Or if you want to come and support the local fields in West Tennessee, check out Blackwater Marsh, which is these lovely people right here with their waifu, Sector 9 Airsoft, Extreme, and of course Battle Zone in Jackson, Tennessee. Till next time.